Most people believe they fail because of the economy, their lack of education, or the bad luck of their birth. They are wrong. They fail because they have turned their own minds into a laboratory for disaster. Every second of every day, you are conducting experiments in the mental laboratory of your subconscious. The problem is, 98% of you are using a lethal formula. You are mixing doubt with procrastination, and then you're surprised when your life explodes in mediocrity. Napoleon Hill discovered that the mind is a literal chemical plant of thought. If you do not consciously choose the ingredients of your mental experiments, your environment will choose them for you. Today, we step inside the lab. We are going to strip away the excuses and reveal the cold, hard science of why you are sabotaging your own success and how to rewrite the formula before it's too late. Section 1. The chemistry of thought. Everything that exists in the physical world began as a thought vibration. In the mental laboratory, your thoughts are the raw chemicals. Hill taught that thoughts are things, and more importantly, they are magnetic. When you hold a thought in your conscious mind, you are beginning a chemical reaction. If you mix a definite purpose with faith, you create a high-frequency vibration that attracts physical counterparts. But the 98% do the opposite. They mix vague desires with fear of poverty. In the chemistry of the mind, fear acts as a corrosive acid. It eats away at your willpower, dissolves your imagination, and leaves you paralyzed. Most people fail because they are trying to build an empire using the chemicals of a victim. You cannot produce gold in a lab filled with lead. Section 2. The law of autosuggestion, the lab assistant. Your subconscious mind is the head chemist of your mental laboratory. It doesn't question the chemicals you provide, it simply processes them. The tool you use to deliver these chemicals is autosuggestion. Think of your conscious mind as the filter and your subconscious as the reservoir. Every time you say, "I can't afford that," or "I'll never be that smart," you are pouring poison into the reservoir. The head chemist takes that poison and begins to build a reality that matches it. This is why most people fail. They are their own worst enemies. They narrate their failures before they even happen. The 2% understand that the lab must be guarded. They use autosuggestion to cleanse the reservoir. They repeat their definite major purpose with such emotion and intensity that the head chemist has no choice but to accept it as a fact. Success is not a miracle, it is a chemical inevitability once the subconscious is convinced. Section 3. The ghost of indecision, the faulty equipment. In a real laboratory, if your equipment is broken, the experiment fails. In the mental laboratory, the most broken piece of equipment is indecision. Napoleon Hill found that the habit of indecision is the most common cause of failure. Indecision is a state of mental drift. It creates a chaotic environment where no reaction can ever reach completion. You start a project, then you doubt it. You mix the chemicals, then you pour them out because you're afraid of the reaction. This stop and start rhythm creates a frequency of failure. The 2% reach decisions promptly and change them slowly. They keep the experiment running until they get a result. The 98% reach decisions slowly, if at all, and change them at the first sign of a flickering light. If you cannot decide on your destination, the law of the mental laboratory will decide for you, and its default setting is poverty. Section 4. Transmuting the energy of sex and desire. One of the most misunderstood chapters in Napoleon Hill's philosophy is sex transmutation. In the mental laboratory, this is the highly volatile chemical. Sex desire is the most powerful of human desires. When driven by this desire, men develop keenness of imagination, courage, willpower, and persistence. Most people fail because they dissipate this energy through physical expression alone. They burn off the fuel that could have powered their genius. The 2% learn to transmute this energy. They take that raw creative drive and redirect it into their work, their art, and their empire. They turn the heat of the laboratory up to its highest setting. This is how ordinary men become extraordinary. They are fueled by a chemical intensity that the 98% simply throw away. Section 5. The Mastermind, the Lab Partners. No great discovery was ever made in total isolation. Even the greatest chemist needs a team. This is the mastermind principle. When two or more minds coordinate in a spirit of harmony, they create a third mind that functions like a supercomputer. Most people fail because they surround themselves with lab partners who are toxic. If your friends are cynical, lazy, or fearful, they are leaking their chemicals into your experiments. You cannot create a successful life while breathing in the fumes of failure from those around you. The 2% are ruthless with their associations. They only allow people into their laboratory who bring catalysts, ideas, energy, and faith that speed up the reaction of success. The climax, rewriting the formula. The doors to your mental laboratory are open. You are standing at the workbench of your life. For years, you have been mixing the same tired ingredients, hesitation, fear, excuses, and social validation, and you have been getting the same result, failure. It is time to clear the bench. Throw out the fear of criticism. Pour the acid of doubt down the drain. Today, you introduce the only 3 chemicals that matter: definiteness of purpose, persistence, and unwavering faith. The law of the mental laboratory is impersonal. It doesn't care if you are a good person. It only cares about the formula you provide. If you give it the formula for wealth, it must produce wealth. If you give it the formula for power, it must produce power. The 98% are outside complaining about the weather. But you are the master chemist. You are the architect of the invisible.